Hello friends, my name is Sunil Ranjan and I am an English faculty member. Now here I have come up with the topic, The Functions of Criticism by T.S. Eliot. And one thing friends, I must tell you that when you are writing your answers in the examination, write a good introduction followed by points, because when you write your answers in points, you will score high marks in the examination and your answer will be different from others. Now here I begin. The essay, The Functions of Criticism, written by T.S. Eliot, was published in 1923. It arose out of a controversy in response to Middleton Murray, an American literary critic, who challenged the ideas of Eliot presented in his previous work, Tradition and Individual Talent. Murray wrote so in his work, Romanticism and Tradition. This essay has been divided into 4 parts. The first part deals with Eliot's views on critique and the critical work of art. The second part deals with Murray's views on Romanticism and Classicism and Eliot's contradiction of it. The third part deals with Eliot's criticism of Murray. And the fourth part deals with the relation of criticism with creative work of art. Now, part 1. And the heading is Criticism and Autotellic Activity. I repeat, part 1, Criticism and Autotellic Activity. In the first part, Eliot says that it is commonly believed that criticism is an autotellic activity, a creative work having an end or purpose. He finds it wrong. He says that a creative work of art requires great efforts and hard work, and those who consider criticism as an autotellic activity should be strictly criticized. He says that a creative work of art is judged through its words. According to him, a good text cannot be produced by having a particular aim in mind. He says that a writer does not write consciously but spontaneously. He says that a writer should focus only on making the text good to the taste for the readers, and he should explain it accordingly. He says that as all critics are humans and have different opinions and methods to respond to the literary text, to him the ultimate aim of every critic should be to enlighten the mind of the reader through the text. The aim of every critic should be to try and accept and arrange differences with other critics. A critic should not be the blind follower of other critics. He should be capable of explaining and justifying why the text should be preserved for the future generation. So, this was part 1. Now coming to part 2, and it is Classicism and Romanticism. So you may write the heading also, Classicism and Romanticism. Now, here I begin. Murray believed that classicism and romanticism cannot go together. He says that classicism is the feature of French literature, whereas romanticism that of England. As he is from England, romanticism is more important for him than the other. Eliot criticizes Murray for not giving importance to classicism. Murray believes that tradition was the combination of literature and religion. He says that tradition and morality can go together. Eliot disagrees with his statement and says that we should either choose tradition or morality, as he argues that both cannot go together simultaneously. Murray believes that a critic should hear and follow his natural instinct. He suggests that rules are made to be broken by listening to one's inner voice, even if it makes him unable to listen to others. Such free play leads one to do what he likes, but it also means the emergence of violence. But Eliot criticizes Murray for rejecting the dignity of others. Now coming to part 3. And part 3, the heading is Inner Voice and Divine Power. I repeat, inner voice and divine power. Murray believes that there exists outside authority which is spiritual and divine, opposed to the inner voice that is vigoury. Well, I give you the spelling, Whiggery. So I begin. Opposed to the inner voice that is vigorous, the outside authority guides us towards the right path. It is perfect, and the inner voice or vigorous must struggle to achieve perfection. Eliot draws a line between human desires and divine authority, but he disagrees with him. According to Eliot, search for perfection is small and petty thinking, as it bounds one to conform oneself to an unquestioned authority. Eliot holds that the function of criticism is the quest for some common principles for the perfection of art, and this can be possible only when the tradition of art is followed, which has come down from the long experience of ages. Now coming to part 4. And part 4 is creativity and criticism. I repeat, creativity and criticism. So here I begin. In the fourth and final part of the essay, Eliot says that some intellectually weak people like Arnold and Murray consider criticism better than the creative art. Eliot is of the view that all arts have creativity, the desire to produce something from one's creative imaginations. A creative text can be produced only through criticism, which includes analysis, evaluation, and construction of one's work. Therefore, criticism and creative art coexist and go together. A critic, as opposed to a writer, analyzes the creative text only and then writes. Criticism is possible only when creative aspects come into play. So, criticism itself is not creative. Thus, Eliot questions Arnold's preference for critic rather than the writer. Thus, Eliot says that past is not dead but lives on in the present. The past is changed in the light of the present as much as the present is directed by the past. Past works of literature form an ideal order, but this ideal order is disturbed when a new work of art emerges. There is a readjustment of values resulting in conformity between the old and the new. Hence, literary tradition is constantly changing and grows differently from age to age. So, this was the fourth part. Now, coming to tools of the critic. This is another heading. Tools of the critic, comparison and analysis. Tools of the critic dash comparison and analysis. Comparison and analysis are the chief tools of a critic. These are the tools of the critic, and he must use them with care and intelligence. Comparison and analysis can be possible only when the critic knows the facts about the works which are to be compared and analyzed. He must know the facts about the work of art, technical elements like its structure, content, and theme. Now, the next heading is function of criticism. So this is another tool of criticism. So function of criticism. According to Eliot, the function of criticism is to educate taste, to promote enjoyment and understanding of literature. Facts can never corrupt taste. They can only gratify taste. Eliot says that critics like Goethe or Coleridge, who supply opinion or fancy, are the real corruptors. Eliot cautions us not to become slaves to facts and bother about such trivialities as the laundry bills of Shakespeare. Such fact hunting is not criticism. He warns against the vicious taste for reading about works of art instead of going through the original text. Now the next point is lemon squeezer criticism dash Eliot's condemnation. So this is the heading, lemon squeezer criticism dash Eliot's condemnation. Well, here I begin. Eliot differs with new critics such as F.R. Lewis and I.A. Richards. He appreciates textual criticism, but he is against the lemon squeezer school of critics who try to squeeze every drop of meaning out of words. He says that a critic should concentrate on the text, compare and analyze, but he should never stoop to trivialities. A good critic is objective. His judgment is based on facts. He is guided by tradition, the accumulated wisdom of ages, and not by his inner voice. And the last point, friends, is Eliot's originality, objective, scientific attitude. So, I repeat, Eliot's originality dash objective, scientific attitude. So, here I begin. The critic should be guided by facts and facts alone, with a free mind, unprejudiced by any theories or preconceived notions. Only then can he be completely objective and impersonal, which forms the cornerstone of science. It is then only that criticism becomes a cooperative activity. The critic of one age cooperates with critics of the previous ages in common pursuit of truth. Such truths are provisional, for truths of one age are likely to be modified and corrected by truth discovered by future ages. In this objective scientific attitude, Eliot is different from all other previous English critics, and there lies his individuality and originality. So here I come to the end of this topic, that was the functions of criticism by T.S. Eliot. And friends, if you have subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you haven't, and if you choose to subscribe, I assure you that I'll be coming up with quality and concise videos for you from time to time. Thank you.